Hey guys, good morning and welcome back to What the Heck Do You Do? A weekly podcast highlighting business owners doing unique and unusual things. We normally come to you live Thursdays at 9:30. Today is Friday, of course. Had a little bit of a scheduling conflict today, but super happy to have my guest Jenna here today. This week's episode is being sponsored by Queen Bee Events, and we're about to learn a whole heck of a lot about Queen Bee Events. But if you are interested in being a sponsor or coming on the show, you can email me at rich.rhodes@gmail.com and we'll get you on. So without further ado, I want to introduce my guest this week, and it's Jenna Brash with Queen Bee Events. How are you?
I am great. I'm loving this weather right now. One of the driest autumns in the Pacific Northwest, and it's gorgeous.
Absolutely. We've lucked out so far. So
Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you. I'm super excited. So I met Jenna several months ago. I think it might have even been last winter.
Yeah.
She was starting to promote an event that she was working on, and she's got a great story to tell, and so I don't want to tell it for her. So we're just going to go ahead and kick off with, what the heck do you do?
Fantastic. Well, the bottom line is Queen Bee Events, we authentically connect and empower the women of the Pacific Northwest through community wellness events. And we do that through a couple of different avenues. Our main avenue is through our Women's Wellness Expos, and that's how this all got started, actually. So this is a pretty new business. I started in August, and before that, a good friend of mine, Carrie Ann Eckberg, and I had this vision, this dream, to bring a new type of women's event to the Pierce County area, specifically in Gig Harbor. And so about a year and a half ago, we said, let's do it. And so we envisioned the best event we could imagine, and it included goat yoga, and there was educational workshops, and there was opportunities to authentically connect with other businesses that were centered in wellness, specifically women's wellness. And we actually went to Penn Met Parks, and they loved our idea. And we had the support of their board commissioners, and within a year, we created this huge event that you were a part of.
I was. Appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. We appreciate your support. We had that event on July 18th of this past year, well, this year currently, and we had 2,500 people come out for that event. And at the time, I was a Montessori director of admissions.
Okay.
So the backstory is that I have been in Montessori education for the past 14 years or so. And I actually met Carrie Ann through the Montessori school because her children attended there.
Okay.
And so we both ended up being at this point in our lives where we were transitioning away from the careers that we are in. And I love education, but I could tell there's something more that I wanted to bring to the community. And so this event happened. I quit my job. Carrie Ann made plans to continue to invest her passion in this as well. And then the event happened, and it was fantastic, and it was great, and then it was over. And I was unemployed. I had nowhere to go. I didn't have that to-do list to get through every single day. And I just thought a lot about what the ideal job would be. And it would be to continue connecting the women authentically, and I keep on saying that word, but it's so important to build those relationships that genuinely support each other. So this past August, I created Queen Bee Events, and here we are now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the significance of Queen Bee Events?
I was hoping you were going to ask me that. So my family and I, we raise honeybees. And up until this point, I did not realize, obviously I knew there was a queen bee for every hive, but I did not realize that all the worker bees are females. So the only males are the drones that come in and mate with the queen, and then they leave. They don't stay in the hive. And Queen Bee Events is centered on two different principles. The first one being that every woman should treat themselves like a queen, and they should make time for themselves. And secondly, the queen exists to support the other female workers in her hive, in her community, and they in return reciprocate that support. So that's what we're all about. One, taking time, ladies, take time for ourselves, invest in ourselves so that we can give to others, and also authentically come together and support each other. Because I think today there's all these wonderful positive messages about women supporting women. And it's really easy for us to talk that talk, but I find that to actually walk that walk, it's a little bit harder for women to navigate, because a lot of times we're meant to, or we feel like we're meant to be each other's competition.
Uh-huh.
So that's the meaning behind Queen Bee events. And then in addition to the expos, we created something called We Rise, and it's centered specifically on collaboration, not competition.
I love it.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
We'll get into We Rise in a minute.
Yes.
I do want to talk more about the expos. So
Please.
maybe talk a little bit about what the expo was. I mean, I know what it was like, but to help people better understand, what did the expo look like? And
Okay.
then going forward with these future expos, maybe talk a little bit about, are they going to be identical because you nailed it?
Yes.
Are you making changes? So talk a little bit about what the first one looked like, and then how that informed maybe what the
Okay.
future ones are going to look like.
Great question. So our first expo, we wanted it to be centered not just on physical and nutritional wellness. So to me, I'm on a mission to help change how we think about health and wellness. It's not just how many times you exercise each week and are you eating enough vegetables. It's, are you taking care of your mental health and wellness? Are we talking about that? Are we bringing visibility to other aspects of wellness? So environmental wellness, financial wellness. Women, let's get more in charge with our money. Let's start knowing our worth and asking to get paid what we deserve to get paid. And then how do we invest properly? And then we also looked at spiritual wellness as well. So that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So when Carrie Ann and I started planning the expo, we knew we wanted to hit on all these different aspects of wellness. And so we just set this event up so that it was multifaceted. Throughout the whole entire day, we had wellness workshops, which were educational seminars that were 30 minutes long going on. We had a wonderful practitioner from Multicare she was a menopause expert. And so lots of women were excited to learn more. How do I survive menopause? Like, how do I get through this season of my life? And then we had dietitians who were there to help busy moms smartly navigate the grocery store so you can buy more fresh foods and prepare healthier meals for your families and for yourself. And then while all of that was going on, we had 12 different fitness classes that you could jump into throughout the day. We had goat yoga, we had Tai Chi, we had pound fitness, which is like you use drumsticks.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like dancing and drumming at the same time, and it's really cool to be in rhythm with those drumsticks too. Just the energy was exciting. All of that, plus we had, I think we were just under 100 vendors, wellness vendors. And that was really exciting too, because we got to see the vendors connect with each other and really help grow that network that was based in supporting women through
Sure.
holistic wellness.
Yeah.
All of that, we had food trucks. We had Ellen Taylor from Q13 Fox. She was our MC for the day, and she was fantastic. And we really loved her because of her story. So she had always wanted to go into journalism. Somebody told her that, nope, sorry, you have a body for radio. And she listened to whoever told her that. And so she ended up being a radio DJ for a while. And then the Q13 Fox news anchor manager was a female, heard Ellen's story and said, that's not okay, and ended up bringing her on. So that was about just a little under 2 years ago, and now she's a news anchor for them, living her dream.
Yeah.
And not having to conform to what our society says is beautiful, one shape or one size. She's doing her, which we love. We had different entertainers. We had Ruthie Kraft, who was recently on American Idol. She came out and she provided entertainment. So the goal really was to bring out all of these local resources that women in our community, our own backyards, might not have otherwise known about, and authentically connect with not just themselves, but their next door neighbors, their healthcare practitioner, their financial advisors, and really just make some time for themselves.
Yeah. No, it was awesome, and I was there, and I had an opportunity to sponsor and have a booth, and just, yeah, I mean, you could just see people just connecting, and it was at Zamel Park, and there was plenty of room.
Yes.
And people had opportunity. They didn't feel rushed, like somebody's behind you waiting to access that vendor's booth, and people were just, naturally talking to each other, and I even had a chance to leave my booth and go around and talk to stuff. So
Good.
yeah, you nailed it.
Thank
I thought
you.
it was awesome. The entertainment was good. I mean,
Thanks.
everything about it just seemed to flow really nicely. So,
Thank
yeah. So talk then about how that spawns the next set. So I know you mentioned, I think you have a couple more scheduled.
Yes.
So maybe talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. We're so excited. The first event was such a success that we are going to do it again in Gig Harbor this summer sometime. And then I've worked in Gig Harbor for the past 15 years or so, but I live in the Silverdale, Bremerton area. So I want to make sure that my hometown community has something like this as well. So we are in the process of finalizing our community partners up in Kitsap County, but we are confirmed to have a Kitsap County Women's Wellness Expo for the first time this summer as well.
Okay.
So 2 expos to look forward to. They're going to be a little bit different, same mission, to authentically connect women with their healthcare resources and wellness resources and give them some time to invest in themselves, but it's going to look different based on the different venues. Same venue for Gig Harbor though.
Okay. So we get to look forward to it again.
Yes.
Awesome.
Bigger and better.
Awesome.
2020.
You got some unique changes planned and some different things, or do you feel like you kind of had a good flow? And
We did. We learned a lot from the first time, as you'll do with anything that you try the first time. What we did find out is that we really wanted to make a space that women could come to without wearing their mom hat or their partner hat. And we found that in Gig Harbor, that limited the opportunity for some women to show up if they weren't able to bring their children. So moving forward, we're actually going to have a field that's dedicated to child and family wellness with kids activities.
okay.
And then on a separate field, it's going to be for women only, 16 and older. So women will have that opportunity to still show up and make time for themselves and go do Tai Chi by themselves or with their girlfriends. But then they're also going to have that opportunity to go and learn more about family health resources with their children and have some fun time with them as well.
I love it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's reality, right?
It is.
As much as you want to say, oh, I'm just going to focus on me, the reality is that can be pretty difficult for a lot of women in a lot of situations, right? So.
Absolutely. And we really took to heart all the feedback that we got. That's one thing. Oh, sorry, I'm touching my mic. That's one thing that I really strive to do is to meet the needs of the women that we're serving. So to hear their feedback and to get those survey results, we take those to heart, and we in our executive committee, we look at that data and we say, okay, what did we do well and how are we going to do better next time? And that was one of the biggest things that came up. Loved the idea, didn't have the opportunity to come by myself, and that's what prevented me from showing up in the first place.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So you say we. So
Yes.
who's we so far?
We, as in we for moving forward for the expos?
Or just Queen Bee in general, right? So you mentioned executive committee. So
Yes.
who's helping you make all this magic happen?
Lots of people. So right now, I'm the only person on staff. However, I have tremendous support. So right now, my office and the monthly events that we're hosting are at Harbor Life Chiropractic.
Yeah.
Dr. Jamie Mullen and Dr. Bo Mullen have been phenomenal supporters of Queen Bee events. Their space is gorgeous, and so to host our events in between the expos or smaller events it's been such a blessing to use their space and have their support. And then Carrie Ann Eckberg, she is still doing her thing and rocking it, but she will always be a part of the expos and my number one partner in crime for those. So we have a lot of support. Our previous executive committee members. A lot of them are coming back on, and we're expanding, so we're going to be recruiting for new executive committee members coming up in December.
Okay.
So,
duly noted.
yes, if you want to be involved in 2020 in some big events that are helping to authentically connect women, you'll see all the posts on Facebook for sure.
Yeah, so like Queen Bee events and keep in the loop, but
Yes.
certainly I think it is something that people would want to be a part of. So talk a little bit about the monthly events. So you've got a couple of big expos, right? But
Yes.
what's going on in the meantime?
So in the meantime, we wanted to keep that energy alive. And one thing we noticed is that of these, nearly 100 vendors, a large majority of them were females, either female business owners or female professionals that really wanted to stay connected after the event. And in August, I said, you know what? How do we keep this energy and community together? And I came up with a group called We Rise, and it stands for Women Entrepreneurs Rise. So a lot of women and folks out there might have seen social media posts about Rise Together, right? You have to support somebody in order to uplift yourself, and it's that reciprocity. And so this is a new networking group. We meet once a month.
Okay.
We, as a former education, as a former Montessorian whose heart is centered in education, the meetings always have an industry expert who comes in and does a workshop.
Okay.
So imagine everybody comes in first. One of our members in their business sponsors the food and drinks. And so we eat and we drink and we talk and we network, and then we share. So it's something called bragging rights. It's really important for me as a female to help other females be able to raise their hand and say, I did awesome this past month. I got my website up and running. I signed on 3 new clients. I made so much money, whatever it is. So we practice sharing the things that we rocked since we last saw each other. And then we jump into our industry expert-led workshop. So for instance, this month we have Jen Rittenhouse, who is the multi-care social media manager, coming in to tell us how to break those pesky social media algorithms and how to post authentically to connect with those clients that we want to attract for our businesses. And then after that, we also focus on community impact projects.
Okay.
So every quarter, we choose a different project to give back to our community. So for our fall quarter, this is our first quarter actually, we've been running since August. We chose to partner with Allie's Prom Project, and we are doing a jewelry and dress drive. So Allie's Prom Project is based here in Tacoma, started by Allie Joseph from Gig Harbor, foster mom, fostered a high school daughter, and realized, oh my gosh, it costs a lot of money to buy dresses and shoes and jewelry. And so she started Allie's Prom Project, and they provide the dresses, the shoes, the jewelry, an individual styling session for any girl who's in the foster care system or on free or reduced lunch.
Okay.
So they just serve hundreds of girls this past homecoming season. They are depleted of their supplies, and so our We Rise group are raising funds and bringing in donations to help get them set up for Tolo season in the next few months.
I'm sorry, for what season?
Tolo. So Tolo is where the girls traditionally ask the guys to the dance instead of vice versa.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Sadie Hawkins' dance.
Yep. Okay. So I think it was
I
Sadie
dating
Hawkins
myself?
first, maybe a little bit, and then Tolo.
Okay.
Yep. But you got the gist.
Do they do the big elaborate asks with the signs and the surprises and stuff? Is that?
Yes, I think so. At least we did. It was like a big production when we would do it. Try to get really creative.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I was actually just talking about this with my girlfriend over the weekend. It's like I remember when like proposals was just you got down on a knee and you proposed, right? And then those got big, right, and elaborate. And then you started seeing like prom getting big, and then I saw Hoko asks, and So.
Yep. I just found out what Hoko was actually this past season. I was like, what is Hoko? Oh, homecoming.
Well,
Got it.
that's what I was expecting you to say. So when you said Tolo, I was like, I don't get
What
it.
is that?
What is
Yeah,
that? So I'm not down with all the cool kids and
I know.
their lingo. So
It's exhausting to keep up with that.
okay, so so in terms of the monthly events,
Yes.
is that are you a member of We Rise, or are you can just show up to the events? Like, how does that?
That's a great question. So We Rise, as a busy mom who has 4 kids, and I'm constantly juggling other things, it's not an annual membership. So you just drop in on the month that you can, and you pay $20. And so you get that workshop, you get that connection. We have a private Facebook page as well. And then we have an upcoming We Rise retreat at the Alderbrook Resort,
Okay.
January 25th and 26th. And it is completely centered in setting your business up for success in 2020.
Okay.
So we have 5 different workshops. We've got a PTSD expert who's teaching a workshop on turning lemons to lemonade. So taking those personal challenges, maybe some trauma, maybe just some personal business challenges, and turning that into positivity, which will eventually morph into success for you and your business with
Okay.
her guidance. We have our keynote speaker, Julie Thorne. She is a corporate rock star. She left the corporate world after becoming a contractor for many of these large corporations to start her own consulting business to help support female entrepreneurs specifically. So she's leading our keynote, which is going from from fearful to fierce.
Okay.
So resetting the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to move away from that scarce mindset, especially as female entrepreneurs. Again, moving away from that competition-based thinking and turning to an abundance mindset. So further supporting ourselves. And then my good friend Carrie Ann, she's teaching a workshop about the power of storytelling.
Okay.
So what we're finding now is that people aren't necessarily buying what you're selling or what I'm selling. They're buying into you as
Sure.
a person.
Mm-hmm.
What do you stand for? What are your values? And one of my favorite quotes is, the shortest distance between 2 people is a story.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're able to authentically tell your story and bring it back to why you're doing what you're doing professionally, it's going to help you reach that many more potential clients.
Sure.
Or colleagues or partners in the community. And then that way you're attracting the right type of colleague or client for your business too.
Yeah.
So we've got that. We have Angie Gardner, who just moved down here from Seattle.
Okay.
She is, in her company, she's in the top 1% for sales. So she knows her business.
Sure.
She's probably the workshop that I'm looking forward to most personally as a business owner. She's the one that takes all that great lovey-dovey inspirational feelings that you get from the weekend at a retreat, and then she's like, okay, well, what are you going to do now? So let me help you turn all of these inspirations into actionable items, and let's bring clarity to your business's strategic plan.
I love that.
Right?
Yep.
And she makes it sexy. Strategic planning can be fun and exciting and sexy, and that's what we're going to do.
I love that. Yeah, I attended a session through my job where he basically said this could just be mental breakfast, which means you come, you hear a bunch of good stuff, and you do nothing with it, right?
Right.
You felt like, all right, that was cool. Yeah, I liked it. Or you can leave here with a to-do list and actually turn around and do it.
Yes.
And do it quick, right? Because you're going to forget.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why we planned it for January, too.
Mm-hmm.
So you could come out of the gates the first month of 2020, you walk away, and you've got your entire strategic plan for 2020 and beyond. And
Gotcha.
You know exactly what you need to do when you hit the office that next Monday morning.
I love it.
But then you also need some time to yourself. So we've got group yoga throughout the weekend. We specifically have space at the Alderbrook with the great stone fireplace. So imagine cozy chairs like these and blankets and the fire crackling and time as a female without interruptions from maybe little ones or in-laws that come over unexpectedly or whatever it is that you have a weekend free to invest in yourself and your business.
Got it. So it's women that own their own business or are responsible for
Yeah,
an entire department or just something where they're sort of the strategic leader, whether they're an entrepreneur or not, it sounds like.
absolutely.
Okay.
So we're really touching on self-improvement and self-care. Marketing is a big one. Anne Marie's also talking. Anne Marie Hupert is our PTSD expert that I had
Okay.
mentioned before. She's focusing on finding your niche, so niche marketing, and then strategic planning. So yes, if you're in charge of any of that, or you just need some inspiration for whatever you're doing professionally, and you have the ability to make some big choices and help direct where your business is going, then this would be a fantastic retreat for you.
Okay. So I take it if you're still promoting, there's some spots left.
We do. We have limited spots. Our newsletter just went out yesterday with our full lineup, and I've
Okay.
already been getting even more interest. So I actually reached out to Alderbrook yesterday and got some more rooms.
Okay.
So we have 10 spots left at
Okay.
this point.
And what's the best, fastest way for somebody to jump on that?
Great question. So the fastest way is to email me, Kale2, the number 2, thequeen@gmail.com, and just let me know that you're interested. Again, I'm a mom with 4 kids, so 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to pay for a retreat in full right off the bat. It's only $400 though. For 2 days, you have your luxurious overnight accommodations, 2 gourmet meals, all of these industry expert leaders. And I've got some gals that they give me a $25 deposit and then they're paying me weekly through the end of this year. So whatever your financial situation is, we can make it work for you.
Yeah. It sounds like, $200 a night for a day at Alderbrook
Yes.
in and of itself with no education sounds like a pretty good bargain.
That's what I think.
And then when you throw in all of the educational components, I think that's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're excited about
Okay.
it.
So we have big expos,
Big expos.
and then we have medium-sized retreats, and then
Yes.
we've got the month-to-month ongoing We Rise workshops.
Absolutely. And I didn't even talk about the wellness workshops, which are also monthly, and they're open to all women. So you don't have to own your own business or be involved in direct sales. You could be a non-working female that comes to these wellness workshops. And again, they are just a continuation of the wellness workshops we offered at the expos.
Okay.
And I'm very excited about next week's wellness workshop. It's with Jessica Iverson from Inspired Wellness.
Okay.
She is a burnout coach. So she is going to be telling us how to break that cycle of burnout and hopefully prevent that holiday burnout that so many females suffer. Because I don't know about you, but I have this tremendous pressure to be the Martha Stewart of the holidays and hand make every little thing and remember all the little magical touches, and I can't do it all. I set myself up for failure, and I think a lot of females, we do that on accident too with our friends or with our posts on Facebook. Hey, look at, I just made this paper garland completely by hand, and I hand painted all the glitter. And that's not happening at my house this year, not at all. And so Jessica is coming to tell us, okay, here's how you can enjoy your holidays and then also eat that piece of pie from your grandmother's, treasured recipe that's been passed down, and don't beat yourself up that you had a piece of pie or those sugar cookies that you made with your kids.
Yeah.
So we're talking about all of that great stuff next Wednesday at Harbor Life Chiropractic from 6:30 to 8. And those are also drop-in, so it's $20. You get the education and you get to meet some new friends and invest in yourself for 90 minutes.
Gotcha. So a lot of events going on. So
Yes.
is your Facebook page the best way to get clued in and start seeing alerts about all these events?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So if our handle is Pacific PNW, Pacific Northwest Queen Bee. That's both for Facebook and for Instagram. And then if you're interested in coming to our We Rise group, we actually have a closed group that you can join now before you actually show up in person, just to test out the waters a little bit too. And that's We Rise Networking Group, and that can be found on Facebook.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rich. This is fun.
I love everything you're doing. I was excited for you when you first started.
Thank you.
We spent some time talking about what you're going to do next, and I'm glad to see that you found the avenue forward to not let that just be a one and done event. So I think that's pretty awesome. So
thank you. I want to take the time to thank you too, and for supporting me. And Rich was a huge support when I was trying to figure out, okay, I'm unemployed. What the heck do I do with my life? And now I'm sitting here talking about what the heck I do with my life.
Yeah.
So thank you for supporting all the small businesses and people like me in our community.
Absolutely. I know we had sat down. I think you maybe had a job offer, or you had an inside track on kind of going back to that world, and you ultimately persevered.
I did. I said, that's the comfortable, that's the safe choice, and you helped remind me that that's not necessarily the best choice.
I love it. So
thanks.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for listening in, especially the ladies out there. Hopefully you picked up some good nuggets and are looking forward to connecting with Jenna and Queen Bee and attending some of these events. I mean, to me, they sound incredible and amazing, and I don't know why you wouldn't want to be a part of it. So go ahead and get involved. Again, thank you for tuning in. Tune in next week. We'll have Barbara Perry from Need a Break Services. Otherwise, have a great weekend and keep chasing your dreams. Thanks, guys.